Welcome back from your Easter break. We're very busy here refining our design-based workshop for East Maitland Public Library, tweaking a bit of those activities. We've had our first event at Sidecar the other weekend, which could have gone better, but it was still very interesting, and we'll get into that a bit. And we've also got to cover the event that we went to at Homebush. In between all that, we've been doing a lot of contracting as well. Let's hop into it. This is our week 23 update. Firstly, on the contracting side, still plugging away quite well. Like I said a few weeks ago, if in doubt, I just do more work. So that's what we've been doing, especially with the cutting down of the driving around due to what's going on. And one thing in particular I've been doing is there's a local company who is looking to introduce some new products and some new processes. So most of my work so far has been remote, whereas this offering that I'm giving these people is a bit more in person, touching base more frequently. That might also tie in with the event I went to in Sydney, as they're looking to get some new hardware. So it's good that I've got enough experience to advise people in that. One thing that this means is, whereas up until now I've been putting up with Fusion, I've been finding that quite frustrating as a piece of software. In particular, it doesn't do drawings well. So the drafting side is still not where it should be. It's quite a mature product now. And also a change since I bought the subscription is now all the FEA work that I do in that software has to go up to the cloud and back down, which, as you can imagine, traveling around is a pretty big negative. We'll be investing in the full product design and manufacturing suite from Autodesk instead, which includes Fusion, but it also includes the full-on engineering software, which I'm used to using throughout my career. On the STEM front, we had the event down at Homebush. It was so refreshing to see the well-oiled machine, which is the university's travelling roadshow for STEM. And whereas the best ones tended to be the claws that were fairly simple, kind of what you'd expect, 2 fingers, quite chunky, so they weren't flexing around a lot. There were some very interesting offerings from some schools. One in particular was quite impressive, where they use more of a claw arrangement. I'll do this as a cross-section view. So that was the pipe. They used a central shaft, and then at the end, they had multiple fingers. I think I saw one with 8. And with a fixed wall back here, and this worked like a bush or a guide, as they pulled this back, the outer wall of the pipe forced the fingers closed. So I thought that was very ingenious, and I saw 2 schools do it. I don't know if they were getting inspiration off each other, but yeah, there's always more than one way to solve a problem. We had our first event at Sidecar. I have a clip for that. I think looking back, there was probably about 4 sessions worth of content which I was trying to do in one go. So it might come down to the arm kits that I had. They had a lot of parts, regardless of the technology. And these were just purchase kits. I think one in particular had 300 plus parts, which over a short period is too much. So maybe I'm better off breaking that up into sub-assemblies and then getting the students to put those together on the day. I'm not sure. Or it might be worthwhile running it over 4 sessions it is quite interesting to see each little part of something come together. So we'll see how that evolves. Ideally, I'd like to get to a point where I'm making these kits and they're more simplified and a lot of the parts are merged together into either one print or one profile cut wooden part. We'll keep evolving that. So on this front, it has been quite positive. I've made progress with homeschooling groups, and I've been given some advice about marketing from a local business, the owner of which had her son attend the sidecar event, and she has put me onto someone. I think it's worthwhile outsourcing this, mainly because the time that I'm spending just going backwards and forwards with people and locking in ticketing and then having not everyone show up on the day. And I understand these are children and things happen, but it is a bit of a time sink and I need to focus on this more. So tomorrow, which for you will be yesterday, we'll edit this out, I'm having that second event at the East Maitland Public Library, and I'll just show you a quick example of how we've evolved one of the kits. So at that first event, we had a warm-up activity, which was a plane this shape. This bit's broken off. It's even hard for me to get it off the printer. It's such a thin, this only ends up being 2 or 3 mil thick. They print quickly, but they're very fragile. And what I did is I chopped the wings off in the 3D printing slicer, and then I had the students create what they thought might be the ideal wing. But like I said, this is too fragile. I was damaging them just getting off the print bed. There goes one now. So what I've done is I've changed that to this new version. So what we're doing is we're getting these fuselages, which I found online. I've chopped the wings off them. I've added the slot so they can try to attach material to it. Now these have a hollow back, a Nerf dart can insert in them, and then we can fire them from a Nerf gun. So it's a predictable sort of launch. Big problem with the rubber bands is it really came down to who was doing the action, and often it was catching on the top of the hand. Wasn't as predictable, but this should take all of that out of the equation and we can focus on the performance of the wing design. Okay, quickly to finish off, we've got our social side. So the Melt have a program called Engage, and I finally got an excuse to go down to the facility at Spears Point Park, Machina. It's a 360-degree projection room, which is very interesting as a space, and it is for hire. So I'd like to think I'd get to a point where I could project some sort of a 3D scan point cloud and have people go into an industrial setting from that facility. So I'm in talks with them and we'll see how that goes, but we might do a trial run where I hire it for an hour and see how that works out. But anyway, back to the Melt Engage. So that's an excellent program. If you're a clean tech startup, I'd get involved with that. I went down to see if I could represent a potential client, but that's not really how it works. So if you're the founder of a clean tech type hardware product, this is for you. So get involved with that. And they also have a program called Nova, which is for other hardware design sort of products. So there's two things that they offer. They also offer school holiday programs as well. So they're very busy down there at the Melt. Hannah If had their latest Innovators Lunch 2 Fridays ago. So if you were there, apologies, I didn't get to that one, but I will be at the next one. So that's at the same time each month. So get that into your calendars every Friday afternoon on the 4th Friday of the month. I must apologise with the Advanced Manufacturing Action Group members from previous years. I have not been in touch with you. I'll make a commitment now that I'll get that done this week. So you will hear from me. If you're in this action group over the last few years, I'm going to reach out to everyone, see if there's any particular things you'd like to focus on this year. I realise it's slipping away from us, but there's potential there to have some sort of a presentation or a presence for whatever that action group comes up with at the festival event. Okay, so I'm off to finish packing my tubs and my bag for the event tomorrow. Yesterday for you. And I hope to talk to you soon, hopefully in person if we can get out and about.